What's up, guys? I'm back, and this video is for the lipos and recycling the circuit board for the telemetry and from the smart packs that you have integrated to your SPEKTRUM batteries. And this is going to be the how-to video, and something I only recommend to those of you who are good with electronics and know how to follow safe procedures, because this can lead to a fire. You guys can get hurt. So anyone who does this is on their at your own discretion. I mean, this is not something to be taken lightly, and lipos can be very dangerous. The fumes they put out, everything that goes with it. You guys can search it up and kind of just go based off that. So just to keep the video short and quick, I'm gonna get down to it. I'm gonna set down my phone, try to get the best camera angle, and then we'll dig right into it. But essentially, what you want to do is just some tips to make it a more safe procedure. I guess what you have to do is first things first, discharge the battery as much as you can, if not all of it. I don't know, connect the motor to it or something and let it die out. When you do let it die out, it's gonna puff up, and that's also releases the gas. So make sure not to puncture it. It's more easily punctured when it's inflated and swelled up or puffed. Another thing you guys should do is cut the connectors. And remember to do, when you're cutting the connector off, do an individual cut. So right now I had the only reason that I cut it off, well, I didn't cut it off, I unsoldered my IC3 because I needed to transfer that over to another lipo battery. Anyway, so when you're gonna cut these off, don't ground out the two or short the two. So just do one by one. Just snip it off with some dikes or needle nose. I'm not sure what you're gonna use, but cut them off. And then what I like to do, since they use a silicone outer casing, I kind of just stretch it over the wires that are exposed. That's essentially just gonna stop or reduce the chances of you shorting it while removing the circuit board, and maybe burning yourself or catching fire or whatever it may be. So let me set the phone down and then we'll proceed. So as I was saying, I'm going to cut the tip off, kind of just slide the casing over. I hope you guys can see that. You can do it another way, I guess. I mean, you can unsolder the whole thing, but honestly, I just wanted to save my connector and I needed it. So you can skip this step, but if you have any lipos where you have the leads just kind of dangling around without a connector, you can do this. Anyways, so older lipos tend to peel up and the casing gets all nasty. So just kind of peel away as much as you can without having to use any tools or sharp objects. Also, if you noticed, this is what we're going for. You can do this however you'd like. I just like making it short so that it can remain at the same length, and I shorten my leads on my lipo, and yeah, that's how I do it. So I did put some stickers on the circuit board and put clear heat shrink over it, so that kind of seems a little more legit. Not that I'm trying to make it, but I know that it's my telemetry adapter. So just kind of peel away. Whatever you do, don't puncture any lipo cells. Lithium is very reactive to oxygen, water, and it's kind of hard to contain at that point. So just be very safe. So yeah. There's really no need to take apart the whole lipo, just kind of work at the top. Ugh. I hope this video is kind of as detailed enough and straightforward. I'll repost another one doing a 6-cell one. This is a 3-cell lipo, and that way you guys can get a better idea. And these connectors are gonna go. The way you're gonna use them is so they're only made as far as the circuit board appears. It looks like you can make it a 6-cell, the one that's currently on here, but I just I prefer to make separate, I guess, dongles or little adapters for my 3 cells, my 2 cells, and my 6 cells. That way I don't have to keep transferring and moving them around anyways. And then that way you guys don't have to figure out like where to solder and what wires to add. So here's the the circuit board that transfers all the cell information to your radio, and it does it all through this signal cable, data transfer cable. I hope you can see that. Oh, this is the data transfer cable. Okay, so really you just want to take off as much of this stuff off, so you can get a good view of the whole thing, and you'll just see where the wires go. So, oh, there goes that. So, well, okay, so okay, so anyways, I tore it up a bit. So we all know that our orange lead on the Spektrum lipos is our positive cable. So you'll see that the circuit board itself, it has a positive cable and it has a negative cable. Now the red cable is going to go straight to the positive, and the negative one is going to go, of course, to the negative cable, and that's going to go exactly direct to the connector where your non-smart battery would connect to, and that's essentially just going to power up the circuit board. And then through these individual what would be the yellow and blue cables, wires, those would be the ones that are transferring individual cell data, and your red one would collect for the third cell, or however you want to see it. I mean, the red one would be your first cell, yellow would be your second cell, and then the blue one would be your third cell. And then the gray cable, of course, that's just going to transfer all the information to your transmitter through your flight wireless unit, through the ESC. Oh, well, anyways, so at this point, what you can do, what I like to do is clip it where I leave some of the colored wire on the battery itself, and I'm going to do it first and I'll show you guys so that I can know where it went. Leave some of the casing behind. That way I don't have to kind of write it down or figure anything out. So just kind of clip everything off. Remember, discharge your battery cell. That way you don't run into issues where you might short it out and cause a fire. You're gonna have to know how to solder. That's for sure. So here's what's gonna happen. So you guys see that we have our balance plug. Our balance plug has the color-coded power cable, and that goes straight to the positive cable, guys. That's gonna go straight to the positive because you want all the your positive leads to be together. The way your balance cable is balancing the other cells is through negative cables. So you have I'm not gonna explain it too much, but anyways, just all the wires are the same on all the Spektrum batteries. This is gonna be for the 3-cell one. Like I said, I'll make more videos for other packs. So the orange one's gonna go to the red, right? So you're gonna want to strip that. Now I'm just twisting them for now, just so that I can hold them in place, and you guys can solder them, right? Now, if you guys would like, you guys can make your leads longer and kind of run your balance connector wherever you'd like. Now, in order for this to work, you're gonna have to install a well, this is kind of tricky, but this is what would go into the, I consider it a male connector because it goes into the other connector, and the pins in this are actually female, but let's call it male for the sake of the video. So this male connector is going to have to go to the female, and you're going to have to replace this for a female connector so that the new battery can connect to the to this balance connector. That way, through the balance connector, it can collect all the cell data and transfer it to your transmitter. And it's just going to tap into the same circuits, and this is practically mounting the same way it was mounted on the SPEKTRUM one. It's just going to be external now. So now all you do now is you get each one of these wires, and if you, like I said, if you kind of feel like you lost a reference of where everything goes, like I said, leave a piece behind of the color of the wire so that you can know where they went. So the black cable had a black wire. The blue one had a black wire. The yellow one, oh shoot, I don't know if you guys can see this well, but here, let me get a screwdriver. Okay, so here's your black wire, your black cable, and this is one of the black cables from the balance port, from the charging balance port. And if you see your blue wire here, this blue wire is what you will find on the circuit board for the telemetry, and it also shares a black wire from the balance port. Same goes for the yellow one. I left a little piece there, and it shares a black one. It doesn't matter what black one you share to what. It doesn't matter, because all it's doing is collecting the data from the individual cell, and it's still gonna connect to the same place to balance the cells. So all you have to do, the only one you have to get right, guys, the most important one, I mean, there's no way you can screw this up, but I've seen many people screw many things up, and all you have to do is get the orange one with the red one, and then any of the 3 black remaining ones, and pair them up with any of the 3 individual cell cables. So one of the black ones with the yellow, one of the black ones with the blue, and one of the blacks with the black, right? And then towards the end, there's a few more steps you need to follow. Oops. So we're gonna kind of, maybe I will solder this. I'm gonna pause the video quickly and I'm gonna solder it up, and then I'll show you guys. I'm gonna be using this snap-on soldering iron. I don't know, one of my favorites. Kind of veering away from the video, but any of you guys who want a good soldering iron, get one of these guys. These are very portable. Butane has a good reserve. Gets really hot. You can solder pretty, thick gauge cable, and I mean, it's a soldering iron. I mean, you wouldn't expect to solder anything thicker than, I don't know, 6 gauge. I mean, this is pretty strong though, and it's powerful. Anyways, let's get back to it. Oh, and it's also magnetic, so you can set it down anywhere. So, like I said, we're gonna get the positive lead, and the positive, which what they use on the balance board is orange. Twist those together. You guys can use your own method to bring the cables together and then just solder them. We're gonna solder this up. Try to focus it right there, guys. Oh, shoot. I'm filming the poor man's way. Oh, shoot. Well, anyways, orange to red. So that's together. They're married. And then, like I said, you want to get any of the black. I like to do it in order, just to keep them from twisting and braiding themselves. So the one that's next from orange, I will go to the one that's next is yellow. And they strip pretty easy because it's silicone. And don't worry, I'll show and I'll demonstrate the final result. Okay. And then what you're gonna do is proceed. Next one's blue. This is kind of a sloppy one because I already have one. Everything else I fly is 6S 700s for my 700 helicopters, and 4S for some of my other helicopters. So it's coming along. It's pretty easy. Doesn't take long or much. All you need is to know how to solder, how to be safe. And the one that's next is, your final one is a black one with the black again. Strip those. Okay. Super easy when you got a good soldering iron too. You gotta love snap-on. So here it is. Oh shoot, you see how I got one in the back. Anyways, I guess here we can redo that. And it would help if you had a stand. But anyway, so kind of want to be organized with this. That way it comes out The results are better. It looks more cleaner too. Probably give this one away to somebody on the field. So this is what it looks like towards the end. So now you have orange with red. The next balance lead on the balance on the balance connector is going to go to the yellow, which is the next cable on the circuit board. Then you have the next black cable on the balance lead, so you can go next to the next one, the following, the blue one, and so on to the final cable, which is your negative cable, to the last cable on the balance lead. It doesn't matter if you get these wrong. So long as you don't get the positive wrong, I'm gonna really express that, because that's the most important one. You'll short it out. You don't want to do that. So now you want to put heat shrink on these two. So you put heat shrink and you shield all the cables that don't have a positive and a negative. Now you could use, let me see the circuit actually. Yeah, you could technically use any of the cables for your as your negative cable, and then the rest will become the remaining two will become the cells just delivering their information. What I mean is you can power up this circuit board and it'll start transferring telemetry after you power it up with the battery. You're going to connect the positive to the battery, and any of these are ground, so you can just connect negative to any of these. But to keep it simple and not complicate things, we all know that black is negative. So connect this. It's going to go to your negative. Okay. So you're going to need a connector that's an IC connector. And again, this is what I consider male. This is what I consider female. Because the connector, as it is, goes into the other connector. I know that some people call these male because the bullet is inside. It's a male, and the receiving end is a female, even though this connector goes into the other connector. So for the sake of the video, again, I'm gonna call this a female, and this one a male. You're gonna need this connector, and you're gonna connect your final connections. You can choose to run a longer wire, or if you wanted to make it even cleaner, you can unsolder at the board and put longer leads. Now, that's up to you. I don't know what your application is, so just get your negative cable that's with your bind cable, your your balance lead, and you're gonna connect that to the negative, which is the SPEKTRUM IC3 connectors. You're gonna have to use these, and they do say negative and positive, so that should be easy to identify. And also you have the color coding. So the negative, the circuit board, it's gonna solder right into the connector. And then positive is going to solder right into the other side of the connector. And then essentially what you're going to do now is you're going to transfer your data cable, right? And you're going to solder it to the to this side of the connector. And you're going to solder it to this pin. which is the one that transfers all your smart telemetry features and whatnot. Not to this side, because this is all this is doing is you're installing this external to the battery. So you know that this wire is coming out. If you connect this to the female connector, then you're not transferring any data to the flight controller through the ESC. You're just sending it back to the battery. We're just trying to recreate what we had on the smart pack. So that's what you're gonna do. And my cable that goes from here to the connector, I did that so that obviously you're gonna need the same gauge cable, and you have plenty to get because you have the bad battery you had, and that's because of current. You cannot use it with the little pieces of wire that it comes with, because you're going to be passing current through it from this connector to this connector. So you're going to have to put some regular cable in between. And then what I like to do to make it easier, guys, I like to solder this little dongle first. So I'll get my IC3, my male and female IC3s, and then just choose the length that you want them apart from each other, right? And then don't cap them yet. These are the caps. On the cap itself, for the where the negative, positive will connect to this one, you're gonna want to elongate the holes right here. Just kind of cut them out a little bit or drill them out, because you're gonna want space for these cables to fit in with these caps. Or you don't have to install a cap. I mean, that's up to you. I like to keep a clean look and a more legit work. It lasts longer, it looks better. So yeah, guys, get creative. I mean, you can make the module so far apart from the actual this little dongle that I made, and you can, I don't know, velcro it somewhere else, even add a connector in between here and kind of make this removable from this. And I don't know, you guys can get creative and do whatever you guys want, but now you guys know how to connect it. And if you guys have any questions, just drop it down in the comments. So let me get a better view for you guys. You know what, better yet, if I have a connector, I'll show you guys. Give me a sec. Okay, so I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. So let's say this is your non-smart battery. So it's going to connect to this. This is your dongle. Your little, what we removed. Non-smart battery. Now the way this is going to go connected, as a visual reference, the rounded side is negative, flat side's positive, right? You're going to run your cables first, solder those, okay? Then, like I said, you want to cap it, it's up to you. If you don't, it's fine. But if you do, those holes for the caps where the cables run through are just perfect so that those cables can be almost flush. I mean, perfectly, sealing. So I drill those out so that you can, or just kind of get a drill bit and kind of, or Dremel out the one of the sides, just kind of make a little half circle on this on the whole entire hole, so that these cables can fit in without being chafed or cut through. So remember, these two, you heat shrink them. You don't want these shorting out anywhere. You're left with your positive, your negative. They're at both ends. Now, positive, your negative is going to go on this side, right up top with the cable. Positive is going to go on the positive side on this connector. on the receiving connector. And then the only other connection you're going to make is your data transfer cable is going to go to the pin. So it's all coming out. It's transferring all the cell data from the old battery to the new one through your ESC to your fly wireless controller all the way to your transmitter. That's all it's going to do. If you guys want to charge your battery like a smart pack, have this connected. Oh, and yeah, and remember, switch this over to the other balance port, what you would find on a charging on your charger. So if you can find any of those, you know, that's what I did. Went to my hobby shop, picked some of those up, and just solder that on in place of this guy. Just get the positive. Just mirror the way this one is. The way it goes in, put the positive back to the other side, and then just put all of them in the same place, and you should be fine. There you have it. Enjoy. Now you don't have to spend hundreds for a feature that should be, I mean, I'd say it should be standard in, you know, in all equipment nowadays. You know, we're in a digital age where there's no reason why we shouldn't have something so basic implemented on all these, you know, machines, which can result in like freaking catastrophic, you know, I don't know, damages. I mean, it can hurt someone, and it's better to be safe, especially for you beginners, and you know, knowing when to land and you know when not to fly. That's a pretty good thing in my book. So go ahead, guys, do it, and recycle your batteries, and you know, dispose of them properly, and recycle this, because this is what we're paying for. This is what we're paying for anyways.